morning, Carmel Catholic. I'm Samantha Washika.
And I'm Maddie Riley.
And these are your current news events of the day. This morning, a suspect is now in custody for a home invasion in South Barrington. Residents told police they found the suspect trying to make a quick escape by jumping out the window. Residents tried to stop him from jumping out the window by grabbing his shirt, but the suspect managed to break away. When police arrived, they found him in a nearby home, threatening that he had a gun. The suspect proceeded to barricade himself in a nearby home. After a 2.5 standoff with police, they were able to detain him with no harm done to anyone.
In August 2011, a man was wrongfully convicted and sentenced to 35 years in prison for a 2008 murder. Marcel Brown spent a decade behind bars for a crime he didn't even commit. He was originally sentenced to 35 years, but on Monday, following a lawsuit for which he was wrongfully convicted, he was awarded $50 million.
Yesterday, actor James Earl Jones passed away at the age of 93 in his home in Pawling, New York. The actor is known for his voiceover for Darth Vader and voice of Mufasa in Lion King and several other well-known films worldwide.
Friday, September 6th, 3 children were evaluated for injuries after a car crashed into the back of a stopped school bus that was dropping off students in Gages Lake. At around 3:30 p.m. Friday, the Gurnee Fire Department and Lake County Sheriff's Office reported to a report of a vehicle crash with injuries. The bus was struck by a slow-moving Honda Civic. 17 kids were inside and 1 child was being dropped off. That's all for current events. Now on to politics with Hannah West.
Good morning, Carmel Catholic. I'm Hannah West, and you're watching CDN News. As the election draws ever closer, so does the decision of taxes. A series of tax cuts will expire the next year, and presidential candidates Trump and Harris must decide what changes are going to be made if they become president. Trump is calling for tax changes that would mostly benefit companies and upper-class individuals. Harris, on the other hand, has a similar stance as Biden, promising tax cuts for lower and middle-class workers and increased tax on companies. Middle-class families would see income improve more in Harris's plan, but wealthier individuals would be better off with Trump's plan, as Harris's would result in a loss for the upper 0.1%. In addition to these affecting the everyday American people, the overall country debt would also be greatly affected. But higher debt levels cast doubt on whether the U.S. will be able to make good on its promises to keep paying it back. And the more people hesitate to buy U.S. debt securities, the more the economy is hurt, says Liz Riley, Marcus veteran on the currently increasing national debt. Trump's plan would land America deeper in debt than Harris's, with an approximate total of $5.8 trillion being added. Tune in next time for a summary of the presidential debate tonight. Now to an interview with Mr. Waddle on mock trial.
Welcome back. I'm Gabby Malley, joined by Mr. Waddle to talk about mock trial. So, Mr. Waddle, what is Carmel's mock trial team, and when does the season start?
So our mock trial team is an academic competition team. We compete against other mock trial teams throughout the state. The Illinois State Bar Association prepares a case, sends it to all the teams, and then we prepare both sides of the case, prosecution and defense or plaintiff and defense. So we need a lot of students playing attorneys and witnesses to put our team together. We'll actually start our practices September 25th.
Nice. So what kind of events does mock trial do throughout the year?
So this is the first time we've done it is tomorrow we've got our how to get away with not murder, but other things that teenagers in Lake County might encounter. So that's running for the first time tomorrow, and then again we're going to run the same program next Wednesday, the 18th.
Great. And when and where is the presentation?
So we're going to be in the IC at 4:30 p.m. Tomorrow, and then again Wednesday, the 18th. Our two attorney coaches who have tons of experience as attorneys in Lake County, both on prosecution and defense side, will be giving practical advice to teenagers on sort of how to handle interactions with the criminal justice system, whether it's getting pulled over, having to go to court, just real life advice that teenagers could use today.
Yeah, that's really important to know. So thank you so much, Mr. Waddle. Up next, we have sports.
Good morning, Carmel. I'm Isaac Van Wee.
I'm Grady Weiger.
Starting off with some exciting games in the NFL. Starting off with Thursday Night Football, the Ravens barely lost by a literal inch. Tight end Isaiah Likely caught a pass in the back of the end zone, which was later reviewed and found that his foot was close to an inch out of bounds. For the Ravens, Lamar Jackson had a decent game with 273 yards on 26 for 41 passing, along with a touchdown and no interceptions to go with it. For the Chiefs, their first-round pick, Xavier Worthy, who had 47 receiving yards on 2 receptions with 1 receiving touchdown, and 21 rushing yards on 1 carry and a touchdown. On Friday night, in Arena Corinthians in Sao Paulo, the Packers and Eagles played their first ever NFL game in South America. With a final score of 29-34, the Eagles outlasted the Packers. In the final seconds of the game, Packers quarterback Jordan Love had to exit the game with an apparent MCL strain and is expected to be out 3 to 6 weeks. Packers wide receiver Jaden Reed had a career game with 138 yards and 4 receptions and 1 rushing attempt for a 33-yard touchdown. For the Eagles, wide receiver A.J. Brown had 119 receiving yards and 1 touchdown on 5 receptions. In the Chicago Bears and Tennessee Titans matchup, the Bears fought back from trailing 0-17 to win 24-17 with the help of their defense. Bears number 1 overall pick Caleb Williams, making his NFL debut, had 93 passing yards and 0 touchdowns on 14 of 29 passing. For the Tennessee Titans, running back Tony Pollard had 82 rushing yards and 1 touchdown on 16 attempts. The Detroit Lions and Los Angeles Rams went to overtime after the Lions blew a 2-touchdown lead. With less than a minute left in the fourth quarter, Lions kicker Jake Bates tied the game with a 32-yard field goal. This extended the game into overtime, where the Lions won with a 1-yard rushing touchdown from David Montgomery. He had 91 rushing yards and 1 touchdown on 17 attempts. For the Los Angeles Rams, wide receiver Cooper Kupp had 110 receiving yards and 1 touchdown on 14 receptions. In the New Orleans Saints versus the Carolina Panthers game, the Saints blew out the Panthers with a final score of 10-47. New Orleans running back Alvin Kamara had 83 rushing yards and 1 touchdown on 15 attempts. For the Carolina Panthers, second-year QB Bryce Young had 161 passing yards and 0 touchdowns, along with 2 interceptions on 13 of 30 passing.
College football week 2. The Illinois game on Saturday, September 7th, was a very close game, and they ended up pulling out the win versus Kansas, number 19th seed. Illinois quarterback Luke Altmaier went 16 for 25 with 192 passing yards. Luke Altmaier also threw 1 touchdown to Caden Vian. Illinois now has a hot start to the season, now being 2-0. The Wisconsin game was a great game. They beat South Dakota. There was a lot of scoring, and Wisconsin's defense played well. Tyler Van Dyke, Wisconsin's quarterback, went 17 for 27 with 214 passing yards and threw 1 touchdown. Another leader for the team was Cade Yakamele, the running back. He had 8 carries and 73 reception yards. Wisconsin has a very hot start to the season, now being 2-0. The Northwestern game. This game was a very close game and even went into overtime. Northwestern ended up losing to Duke 20-26. Some leaders from the Northwestern game was Mike Wright. He went 20 for 36 with passing yards, and he had 185 and threw 1 interception. Another player from Northwestern that did great was Cam Porter. He had 16 carries for 93 yards, as well as 2 touchdowns. Northwestern is now 0-1, and they're off to a bit of a shaky start. The last game was the Notre Dame game. This game was a complete letdown, seeing as Notre Dame, the 5 seed, lost to NIU. This was the biggest upset of the weekend. Some leaders of the game was Ethan Hampton, the quarterback of NIU. He threw for 198 passing yards, and he went 10 for 19 with 1 passing touchdown. Another leader from the game was Antario Brown. He had 99 rushing yards and 1 touchdown. That's it.
Welcome back, Carmel, for announcements. Tomorrow, Notre Dame, High Point University, and Texas Christian University representatives are visiting. Make sure to inform your teachers 24 hours in advance if you plan on attending the visit. They will be in the CCRC.
Wellness Day is next Friday. The sign-up will open after school today. Make sure to sign up. It is a half day with casual dress, followed by powder puff.
This Friday is the Freshman Retreat Day, which begins at 8 a.m. It will be a casual dress day for all freshmen. For all other students, it will be an A-Day.
Carmel Catholic is inviting all students to join us for Mass every Monday and Friday at 7:15 a.m. and after school every Wednesday at 3:20 p.m. That's all for today, Carmel. Have a tremendous Tuesday.